Some graduate students in Canada, in the province of Prince Edward Island, are not happy. They have been protesting for the last couple of days. This is what they're saying.
We have been here, so there were programs here with only 6 months of probation period from an employer. You were nominated for your provincial nominee program. So why were those programs introduced at the first place then? Before why were those programs started? We came into those programs with hopes. So those programs are PR pathways for us. That is what we came here for, and after changing the rules, they can't say, now you have to leave.
And these peaceful protesters will be happy to have many of you, whether you're permanent residents or citizens or even work permit holders, to join them in protesting.
As you guys can see, me and my friends are gathered here together, and it's our day 5 of our peaceful protest, and we're still going strong, and we want all our friends to join us here together. Doesn't matter if you're on a work permit or you're a permanent resident or you're a citizen. We are fighting for what's fair, and we are doing a peaceful protest. We are not doing anything like out of the box, and we want all our friends to come here and support.
But why is Prince Edward Island in the news, and what is the reason for the protest?
Why are you guys protesting?
We are protesting because last year, July 2023, PEI government changed the rule overnight and we were not even notified. This is the reason we are protesting here, because rules were made all of a sudden and they didn't give us enough time to make our decisions, and we were stuck at the same jobs.
Now that we know why they're protesting, what exactly do they want from the government or the province of Prince Edward Island?
We have 3 demands from the province. First demand is, we were here long before the rules were implemented. We want us to be grandfathered as these shouldn't be implemented on us. Our second demand is fair PNP draws, and we want them to add all the eliminated sectors that they did. We want fair PNP draws, no point system at all. Now we have point system for 65. 65 is the minimum points that we need to have in order to apply for PNP. But no one can make that points. People are here who don't even make 40 points. It's not like they don't deserve. They deserve everything. They work hard and they earn it. They have eliminated food sector. They have eliminated sales and services. We were frontliners when the COVID hit and they were giving PRs for free. And that time, now we are working hard. They are not counting us in, and they eliminated all of us out. They only count construction and healthcare in it. They are taking construction. Using construction is totally a gender inequality because they are not giving proper information, and not all people can do construction work. For healthcare services, it's very less opportunities as well as if we look for PI. Few hospitals, just one hospital and few clinics.
This is AfriES. Money on your phone, on the AfriES app. You can download it wherever you are. Install the AfriES app and send money to your loved ones all over the world. When you use my promo code, which is actually displayed on the screen right now, you should be able to get a one-time $15 bonus. Somewhere last year, I did a video and actually mentioned that Prince Edward Island is one of the places that a lot of international students who graduate from other provinces tend to look up to in terms of permanent residency opportunities. And this is what I said in that video. Prince Edward Island for international students who complete their studies. If they realize that maybe it's going to take them too long a time to get their PR in other provinces, or if they realize that they have to spend too much time in school in other provinces, they'll find a way to just do maybe 1 or 2 year studies and then move out of the province and go to Prince Edward Island just to process their PR there. Okay, it's one of the provinces you can easily get your PR. All right. So if you want to really understand why dozens of foreign workers, mostly international graduate students, are on the streets in Prince Edward Island and are protesting the immigration strategy of the provincial government of Prince Edward Island, the reason is that simply somewhere last year, the provincial government made changes to their provincial nominee program, which specifically targets international graduate students. Now, per the previous policy, international students who can demonstrate that they have a valid work permit in Canada and have graduated from a Canadian institution, a post-secondary institution, were eligible to apply for permanent residency if they could get a provincial nomination from the province of Prince Edward Island. The criteria they set in place was quite achievable. All you needed to do was to have a Canadian education and a valid work permit. And one more thing, you also needed to have some work experience from the province of Prince Edward Island. And the requirement was that if you could get an employer to hire you in the province of Prince Edward Island and put you on a 6 months probation where you complete 6 months of work there, then you could potentially submit an expression of interest for Prince Edward Island under the international graduate stream to be considered for provincial nomination. Now, provincial nomination is quite a big deal right now, especially if you look at the different programs in Canada for getting your permanent residency. Now, anybody with a provincial nomination will likely be invited to apply for their permanent residency. That is why this particular program to these international graduate students is quite a big deal. So what is the change so far, and why is there a big deal or noise about it? The provincial government of Prince Edward Island actually made a change to it. And the change here is that they decided to focus on certain industries. The province of Prince Edward Island has decided to reduce their immigration targets by 25%. 25% reduction. That is actually a drop from 2,100 people that had the opportunity to actually get the provincial nominations last year for permanent residency. Let's take a look at the breakdown of the industries that will be affected. So if you look on the screen, you'll notice that the red mark, the deep red, represents the permanent residency slot or target for 2023. And the light color is their forecast for 2024. So for healthcare, we are seeing an increase from 210 slots for permanent residency to 300. For construction, it's also jumped from 80 to 185. Now, manufacturing has also seen an increase from 380 in the previous year of 2023 to 435. And what about professional services and sciences? That is, if you found a job in the professional services and you are in the science field in Prince Edward Island and you're hoping to use the international graduate student or any of the programs that they have for provincial nomination, what is the numbers there? The numbers there remains the same, 85. Tracking and transportation also remains the same at 170. Now, the biggest sector that actually saw a huge decline is the sales and service industry. The sales and service sector last year had 855 people getting a chance to apply for permanent residency, but this year, under the 2024 target, will only see 215 people getting. So that is a massive decline of over 600 there. Now, the traditional sectors such as tourism and agriculture and fisheries is seeing a jump from 105 to 120. And early childhood education, so those who are in the early childhood education, as early childhood educators, will also be seeing a slight increase from 55 to 80. There are also other sectors that will receive a slot for 180. So folks, you understand why these Indian students are fuming about it. So here is it. So most of these international student graduates who are working in Prince Edward Island, I imagine, are on 1 year postgraduate work permits. And the 1 year postgraduate work permit actually passed by so quickly. So they may have moved to Prince Edward Island with the hope of getting a job, working it for 6 months. And then once they get a 6 months work experience there, they are able to or submit an expression of interest in order to get a nomination for provincial nominee. All right. If they get a provincial nomination, bingo, they have a good chance of getting a permanent residency. Now, with the changes to the program now, it simply means that most of the people who are in the service sector or the sales and service sector will be affected. Right? Sales and service sector saw the massive decline, and these students are not happy with it. In fact, one of the concerns they have is that they are running out of work permit, and if they run out, they do not know what to do. Here is what they said to lawmakers in Prince Edward Island when they were granted the audience.
What happened to those 10 folks?
Around 4 has left to India, because once your work permit expire, you are legal in the country and nobody wants that tag. Definitely, if they find you, you will be deported and you won't be allowed to enter the country. They can put deportations for 5 years or 10 years. Definitely, it's up to the immigration officer. And you see, you have lost your 60 to 70,000 hard-earned money. First thing first, what comes with deportation? It's not just the deportation. It's not like your work permit expired. It's your hope for your better life. What you thought the time you migrated to Canada, that vanishes. You lose your hard-earned money. You basically that's once you lose your work permit. Like for example, let me give you my example. If our province is not taking right measures, if they are not making fair decisions, I will be losing my work permit on 14th July. definitely you won't be seeing me here. I will leave this country on 13th itself. Because if 15th July hits, I will be legal. I will definitely, even if I leave early, I will lose my money. I will lose 5 years that I invested in the country. I will definitely won't be mentally and emotionally stable for some period of time. Who will be when you see losing your $60,000 to $70,000, when you will be leaving your family behind? Because my sister, she's in RCMP Manitoba. My whole family lives in this country. What would I be doing outside Canada, and will I have no options to come back? How unfair is that?
Folks, so if you put yourself in their shoes, you can understand postgraduate work permits of 1 year cannot be renewed or extended. So their main concern is that they will run out of status and may just not have opportunities of getting a permanent residence. But do they have a justification though? Because some Canadians have actually taken them on and said that, look, nobody promised you permanent residency. The province has a right to make changes as they deem fit. And here is what some sections of Canadians are saying about this.
The province obviously they have a duty to take care of PEI citizens first. You would agree with that, right? I mean, if the province says, listen, there are too many people here, we have an abundance of people with a set of skills that we don't need right now in the province, they have a right to say, we can't have you guys live here. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that at all, because we have been here. So there were programs here with only 6 months of probation period from an employer. You were nominated for your provincial nominee program. So why were those programs introduced at the first place then? Before, why were those programs started? We came into those programs with hopes. So those programs are PR pathways for us. That is what we came here for, and after changing the rules, they can't say, now you have to leave.
Right, so you hear what a student said there. They spent so much money studying in Canada, and they feel that they had high hopes of getting their permanent residence, and all of a sudden, changes have been made to the policy, and they're so worried that now their chances of getting the permanent residences are almost out of their hand. Do they all have a point though? It looks like you may actually find this disclaimer right there. And it reads, PEI, provincial immigration pathways, are dependent upon federal immigration allocations or application volumes and provincial labor market needs. The PEI Office of Immigration is currently selecting and prioritizing skills in higher demand sectors such as healthcare, trades, childcare, and other key industries facing labor shortages. Individuals working in the sales and service sector may not receive an invitation to apply at this time. An expression of interest is not an application, but an indication of your interest in being considered to apply. So guys, the disclaimer right here on the website actually states that they are not actually guaranteeing anybody a slot. They are focusing on their labor needs and based on what they deem necessary for the labor market in Prince Edward Island. It determines who gets the chance to be invited. So somehow, if you just suppose you notice that the government actually here has a point, but I understand it. These students feel that, look, they make the move all the way to Prince Edward Island just so they can come and get these opportunities, and then all of a sudden the rules are changed like this to affect them. Is it fair? Let me know in the comment section. Drop your comments there and let me know. Now, if you're watching this video, you might be asking yourself, so what do I also learn from this if I'm an international student coming to study or just arrived in Canada? The sectors you find yourself working could be very, very critical to your prospects of getting permanent residency. If you're studying courses that are in the liberal arts or the general arts or the general fields of studies, you might probably want to start looking into the prospects of getting permanent residency after, especially if you are interested in getting that document. Otherwise, you could find yourself stranded in some provinces where critical labor needs determine the allocation for permanent residency. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for more updates. I will be keeping an eye closely on this one here, and I'll bring you updates in the future.